But first, the president's former campaign manager, Paul Manafort, wrapped up his first day of trial Tuesday. He is facing several charges related to financial fraud in the first trial stemming from charges brought by the special counsel. In Tuesday's opening remarks, prosecutors asserted Manafort thought he was, quote, above the law. His defense responded, it is not a crime to be rich and successful. Our Paula Reid is at the federal courthouse in Alexandria, Virginia, with more.
Heading into court this morning, Paul Manafort's attorney, Kevin Downing, dismissed any chance of a last-minute plea.
Any chance that he may decide to flip and cooperate?
No chance.
No chance? Manafort, a legendary Republican political operative and lobbyist, is the first Trump associate to face trial in the special counsel investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 campaigns. The case against the former Trump campaign chairman makes no mention of the election or President Trump. Instead, Manafort is charged with bank fraud and tax evasion. In their opening statement, prosecutors said Manafort failed to pay taxes on tens of millions of dollars earned from his lobbying work on behalf of Ukrainian politicians. He allegedly laundered the money through lavish purchases, including a $21,000 watch and a jacket made from ostrich. Manafort is the only American charged by the special counsel who has refused to cooperate, and sources say he is banking on a presidential pardon. Last month, President Trump said he felt badly about Manafort's plight.
They went back 12 years to get things that he did 12 years ago? You know, Paul Manafort worked for me for a very short period of time.
CBS News Washington correspondent Paula Reid joins me now. So, Paula, what else did we hear from prosecutors and Manafort's team in Tuesday's opening statements?
Well, it's incredible how quickly this trial is moving, Elaine. We've already heard opening arguments from both sides and already heard from a witness. Now, in opening arguments, prosecutors laid out their case and how they allege that Manafort earned tens of millions of dollars for his work on behalf of pro-Russia Ukrainian politicians. They then alleged that he set up offshore bank accounts where he could receive that money and not have to pay U.S. taxes. They also alleged that he laundered that money, brought it back into the U.S. by purchasing expensive homes, luxury cars, a $21,000 watch, and even a coat made from ostrich. Now, his attorneys, Manafort's defense attorneys, argue that this was not Manafort's fault, that he trusted his business associate, Richard Gates, to handle all of his business, financial dealings. And unfortunately, they argue that he set up offshore bank accounts without Mr. Manafort knowing, and therefore he cannot be held liable for tax fraud.
Well, do we have a sense, Paula, of what evidence both sides will provide in the case?
It's going to be a lot of witnesses. There are over 35 witnesses who could potentially be called in this case. And the witness that is essential to the prosecution's case is Richard Gates. He is Manafort's one-time business associate. He is also, of course, Manafort's former deputy campaign chairman for the Trump campaign. So these two worked together. They were charged together as co-defendants by special counsel last year in the same conspiracy. So when you're co-defendant, the person you are charged with conspiring with in a crime, when that person flips and takes the stand against you, it's not good. And it really does sort of stack the deck against you because they know where everything happened. They know how everything happened, and they can provide a lot of evidence that makes it much easier to convict someone.
So we will be seeing Rick Gates called to the witness stand.
Yes, absolutely. We don't know when. We don't know which day or what time. Prosecutors tend to sort of hide or continue the element of surprise with their star witness. We don't know when he'll pop up, but he is expected to be called. Now, there's also a chance, possibly, that prosecutors decide not to call him, but I doubt that'll happen with this one.
All right. Why is Paul Manafort choosing not to cooperate?
Well, he is banking on a presidential pardon. He is the only American charged in this case who has refused to cooperate and enter a plea deal. He believes he has enough money and emotional stamina to push through not one, but two federal trials. Richard Gates initially pleaded not guilty, but then he did an assessment of the emotional and financial toll that it would take on him and his family to fight through these two trials, even if he got a pardon, and he couldn't take it. So he entered a plea deal, as has every other American charged in this case. But Manafort, he is willing to push through this. He is willing to fight and bank on a pardon. Elaine, I think there are a lot of signals that he could likely get a pardon, or more realistically, perhaps a commutation, so he does not have to spend the rest of his life in jail if he's convicted.
Well, Paula, what should we expect to see in the coming days?
Well, it'll be interesting to see if this trial continues to move at this rapid pace, Elaine. I've never seen a case move this fast. Today we did all of jury selection, opening arguments. They called a witness. They even handled some motions. It was an unbelievable pace. This judge is known as the, quote, rocket docket, and he has certainly lived up to that name. Tomorrow we can expect to hear more witnesses. That'll likely be true for the next few days, but it'll be interesting to see how long it takes for the whole case to be put on before it gets to the jury.
All right, Paula Reid for us. Paula, thanks very much.